Yesterday, we started understanding how to create a job and how to configure the component. So when you take any component and what are all the common things we are going to see in a component. So that's what we understand, and we learn one simple job, how to run the job, and what we can play with the configuration of the component and all. So now so like that you can go and check sample components depends on your requirement. So it's going to be a, not, we cannot say I learned this 10 components, I can work on this, I can make sure that components configuration and all. It's not like that, where you are going to get a different components and different technologies. That is what ETL. So ETL is going to interact with the two technologies or two source systems. They are different technical challenges. So you have to use that related components and you have to configure. So the basic structure of the component, like a configuration, so whatever you are seeing, then the basic setting, advanced setting, dynamic say dynamic validation, documentation, view, these kind of settings you are going to see in any other components also. But what we have to check, what is the advanced settings we have to configure to make our job to be executable, or what is the required things. You have to verify that and you have to configure that. That is what tool is available. That's what existing functionality, whatever they have written the code and they have given us a UI format. So the tool is a semi software, so it is available, so you can just configure and you can start execute or using that feature of the each and every component. So generally, right, if you want to read from file, so read from file, right, if just assume you don't have any ETL tool or anything earlier, what you have to do, you have to go for any programming. Like if you go for 1980s or 70s, there is a, like a Fortran or COBOL, this kind of language interpreters are there. They're going to write a 3 lines of or 4 lines of code to read the file. Now coming to like object oriented programming, that's like a Java, .NET, you want to read from file, at least it is going to be a 5 to 10 lines of code you have to write to read the path of the file, and you have to get the each and every line from the file, and you want to print or you want to write onto the another file. So you have to open the object for writing and reading, this kind of things. So this kind of common steps you have to follow any programming language object oriented. So even you see, right, C also, you have to write a 7 lines of at least 3 to 7 lines of code in C and C plus plus Java. So anywhere you have to write. So that is and again it's going to be a risk kind of logic. So if there is some different file, then you have to change your coding and you have to related API and related code you have to write. So it's not a one code which can open the file and you can read the data. So for example, flat file, it's going to be a different class and related methods available. If you are going to read for a XML, you have to read for a different API and you have to class like that. It's a specific to file and what class and what method we have to call and all. It's going to be differ for each and every like kind of reading or writing. So in this case you can see, right, Talend, so there is a components, there is a separate components for each and every, like each and every files or each and every database, anything. So yesterday we have seen that we have taken a common component DB input, and when you go and select the different technology, like it's a MySQL, then the format or look and feel of that component changed, and it is simply converted the related whatever they have designed the color of that MySQL, and if you go and select Oracle, the related color it is changed. So now you can see, right, so we'll use the DB component. just a input. I am taking input. So input in the sense you want to read, you want to extract from the object or a table, you want to read from some data, then you are going to select a input. So input in the sense something you are passing as a feeding, you are feeding to read the data or extract the data. So input. So writing means you are writing like output means you are giving something after your processing or job flow has done, it is going to write something on the some other place, that is a writing. So there you will call as a output. So output is represents the writing, and input represents the reading. So here you can remember they're going to call input as a reading purpose, extraction, ETL in the extraction transform load, right? So you can remember simply if you are using somebody is saying drag the input component means is he wants to read something from that object or a table or file whatever. So input is indicates that you are extracting data. Input indicates extracting data, so you want to try to read the data. So somebody is saying use that output, you use this output component something, so they want to write onto some other target loading. So it's a output means you can compare with the ETL keyword load. Load is going to represent the output. So output indicates loading data, input indicates writing reading data. So reading, writing. So even they'll call it as a source. So input is like a source, something source for you to get the data, read the data. So they'll call it as source, and output they'll call it as a target. So target means where you have to reach the destination, that is called target. So namings are going to be changed, but coming to tool, so input output indicates input means reading, output means writing. So now here you see, right, this is a component you're going to select. Here I want to select a MySQL. So and I just click on apply. This is a common component, you see, right, what color it has. You are seeing like the combination of green and some gray color and all. So when you select some technology related, so these are all different flavors of database distributions or products we have. Database, relational database, or non NoSQL databases, whatever they have. So you can select that particular technology, that a product, MySQL product. So then you can click on apply, then automatically the color changed. Okay, you won't see much. Then you can go and select Oracle example. So Oracle, so they have designed such a way as to identify the difference of each and every product. So product or technology. So Oracle is a different product and MySQL is a different product. So you can see that color is changed. It's a combination of red and light blue color. And here one more indication you can see, right, blue color means and a arrow to showing towards, so it is going for it is moving to right side, so that indicates it's a input component. These are all tips for you when you are start using Talend. When you're working someone, they'll say drag this input component. So when you are simply by mistake you drag some output component, it's simply you can find these kind of tool tips. So if it is a arrow is going right side, that means it's a input component. If you are able to see, so if you are not able to find this kind of label and all, just when you are dragging and you are selecting component, you have to be uh, uh, very like read the component name and drag it. By mistake you drag output, but simply you don't need to go and see the label and all, you can see that arrow mark. So understand that this is a something is moving, so it is coming from some table to going for another next component. That is the arrow indicates you it is a input component. If I take a output component, so now you can see, right, the arrow is on top and you can see the green color. So these two colors, if you see right here, it is a an on overlapped on the component. If you see that green color arrow on top of the component, so that kind of simple kind of tips you can remember in your mind. So what this component, this is a input or this is output. If you are able to read from the component label, that's fine. When you are selecting components itself, you can understand you are dragging the input or output, those things. But by mistake you dragged also immediately. So in a in a hurry, what we'll do, we'll just drag the component and we'll try to connect with this that component, but output component will not allow you to pass to the next component. That connections, we'll discuss about that connections. So sometimes it will not allow you to connect to the next component. That indicates something, it is not is an input to the next component. So that kind of things you have to remember when you are dragging. Now you can select here Oracle output. So I want to select a, I want to read from Oracle and I want to write onto the Oracle object table. So now you see right. So here two observations you can see, like arrow is on overlapped on the component and it is on a middle of the component. Here you can see the green color arrow on top of the like a, that whatever they have symbol, right, they have a kind of tin, so that indicates a data mart, something data table, something. So that kind of graphical things will represent you, even you can able to follow what the process is doing. So based on this I can understand with a familiar, you can understand now you are good with what is input and what is output and what components will going to have input components, what kind of symbolic representation of the components you can understand. And the same way you can understand the output also. Now you can understand, I'm trying to read from the Oracle table and I'm writing onto the Oracle table. So these kind of things you can able to follow any component. So these arrows will indicate you it is a input or it is a output. So you want to read what is a component you have dragged and all, you can see that component name on the component tab, you can see that, and what you are going to configure and all same. So yesterday we have seen this message box and we understand that basic setting and advanced settings and dynamic settings, view, documentation. Same way when you are taking this input component and you can find what are all the things need to be configured to get the data from the table. So that is how you have to identify input and output, and how to get the documentation on this particular component. You just click on F1. So F1 will direct you to online page, or it will show in within the tool itself, it will show you help and all. So now I clicked on that F1. Now it is directed to the web page, and it has a documentation of related to that component. So here you can see right, it is a category of, we are using the Oracle related component. So Oracle related, what are all the components available and how to use that components you can find in the documentation. So now input, so what is the properties you have to set up and what is the mandatory fields, everything you can find in the documentation. So this is the way you have to select the component and you have to go through the documentation. So how, what is the input and what is the output, I hope you guys able to understand in Talend side. So input means it's a reading, and you can see that blue color arrow, this more 99% you can see that blue color arrow on the input components, and you can see that green color arrow on the output components. That indicates it is reading and it is waiting to writing. So you are going to write something on this table. Okay, this is how components are defined in a Talend, and always component name starts with the T. So T indicates Talend, and next they'll give us what is a product, what is a technical stack of that component you can find in the component name. Now we have taken a generic component and we are just selecting that product name and all, right. So you want to fetch, you are working with a specific product and you are working on MySQL. So you just click on MySQL, you can find the MySQL related folder, you can find what all the components. Now you can see, right, it is a Amazon related, because under Amazon and under MySQL you will have, and you want a not a cloud, you want a general like a plain database, and you can find here. So is there any specific to here you can see, right, there is a DB common. So this is are all DB common. So whenever you select the component, you can select that related product on the option. You will see, right, we have seen that option. So you can select that component, and you can select the what technology you want. You want to select with Oracle product, or you want to PostgreSQL, or whatever, you can just select and click on it. And apart from that, you can see the DB specific. So DB specific, right? So here you can go and find related DB specific, MySQL related, or Oracle related, that kind of thing. So they made it simple. So instead of giving different product related components, they have done that, changing the code. This is not there earlier, 2 3 versions before. So just you will go and select the specific to that related product components and all. Now they have given a common components, and you can just click on the relevant database, and automatically the look and feel of the component, and it will establish the code for to connect that particular product. So whenever you are not selected anything, so it will be a common code will be there. So whenever you select a specific product which you want to read or load the data, then automatically the kind of background code which is going to establish when you click on apply. So that apply is a kind of code generation for the specific that product related. So when you click on apply, then it will start the related that class, what is a class, and related methods which are applicable for the Oracle, or whatever you select, the PostgreSQL, whatever. So that kind of manipulations or UI side they have done very beautifully, and they have made our life very easy. So you don't know how to fetch a specific technology component. So you like a tool means that is what user friendly, and they makes our life simple, and you can easily interact, and you can implement whatever, that UI. And UI is a very important, right, when you are creating a tool, when you are creating a app. So for example, we are all using WhatsApp or Hi app, whatever. So day by day they'll give some new features which can be very user friendly. So you are using for example, you want to say your mood, and you want to express your emotion. Instead of writing um, I'm hungry. So some people just put that icon, image, whatever. Recently, they added stickers and all. So if you are hungry, that emotion or feeling you want to pass to the some other people, you just simply instead of writing I'm feeling hungry, I want to go out for dinner. So whatever. So simply you'll select that icon image or a sticker. You'll paste your friends like that. So that kind of user friendly, always day by day they'll think. Even though same, when you are creating a code also, you have to think how generically, how utilizable, you can utilize a number of ways, and simple modifications, how you can implement that kind of optimal writing code or creating jobs, very important. So that way they'll also usually any tool, any framework which can be provided by some product owners, they'll think in that direction. They'll always give us a user friendly, and it's a small quick changes that everything will change. So now you see, right? So our job purpose is, we don't know, example, I don't know what DB I want to connect, but I want now, after dragging the common component, I understand that I want to use for go for Oracle, I want to go for MySQL. But this is generally I'm telling. But when you are going to the project, they'll tell what is the source and what is the target. So what source systems you are going to connect, and what source systems you are going to read. So this is a information. And even in the palette you can see, right, there is a separate each and every folder related to the product. They have given us very user friendly, and you can easily select the component which you are looking for. And same way they'll have a two set. So one set we understand is the input. So input is for extracting the any data, any information from the object. And output, same way, in between we are going to have stages, like you want to perform some validations, you want to use the aggregations, you want to sort the data, you want to do some kind of unique or identify the duplicates information. uh, so then that kind of components where you can find and how you can find. So you want to use a unique, or you want to use a like a processing between source and target, you want to do some transformation, then you will have to check what component is available, so what under what category, under what folder you will have that kind of information. So you can see here, right, I just selected paper. So forget about exactly what is tmap at all. So here I just a mapper, so any etl, right? So there is a mapping required. So before starting your job you need a mapping. So mapping in the sense what you are reading and what you are writing, in between what you have to map. So you are reading from one place and you are writing to the other place, then what to map and what transformations, what validations you have to perform on that, you have to know before, right? So that required, if you have that mapping information, then you have to start developing a job, right? Then you have to take the processing components. Now you see, right, I have taken an input component. So input component, and I'll take the output component also. But I know, so input output, so I understand etl is for reading and writing to some other location, or whatever they want in the within the same schema or whatever. So but I want to do some transformations where I have to do. So I want to do some transformation before loading data into the target. So I am extracted. I'm good with extraction. I have connected. I'm passed the credentials and all, and I'm reading the table, and I'm trying to load into the other technology, like other like some other database something. So I want to transform the data. I want to pass some kind of validations before loading into target. I want to clean up the data and I want to pass the rules. I don't want to dump simply all the data. I want to pass the validation and rules to the when I am loading to the other system or a target system. So here we can keep it two keywords, source and target. So source is a MySQL and target is something else, whatever Infomix or something Infomix. So you want to load this data. You want to extract from MySQL and I want to load the Infomix. So in between, I want to check the name is all camel case or not. For example, simple transformation. When we started understanding it, I have given an example. So standardization of name. So I want to name as a camel case. So I want to do camel case. So where I have to do. So this is the place what in general any ETL tool they'll call it as a mapping. So mapping is going to happen between source and target. Here you can say input and target. So input and output. So here it is a they're calling a talent input component and output component. So between input and output, I want to do that mapping and validation. So there is a mapper component called tmap, so which can help you to map between source and target. Simply you can map between like this design. Forget about what I am doing the graphical and all, just understand the concept. Okay, so in between source and target, I have added one more component, and you can see that the graphical representation here, it is trying to read from the source, and you can see that like a lines, right? It is mapping this column to this cell to this cell and this cell to this cell. You can see that kind of lines bit over there. So what it is indicating, you are trying to map from here. There is a three fields, id, name, salary or something, and here we have a employee id and full name and like a salary. So three fields are there. So here it is a id, name, salary. Here it is a employee ID, name, salary. So employee ID, full name, salary. So name should match with the full name. We have to map with the full name, and ID we have to match with the employee ID. So target system, they have given that kind of schema. They have like have centralized schema. They have given that kind of model for the table. When they get that entire application related model, then they can name the tables, and they can name the columns which we are expected in a target state. So we are not going to expect the same what we have in a source. It is going to be the same in a target. So that is not the case. So whatever you have in a source, and that equivalent related field names are exact what data you are storing in a source, the same data you are going to store in a target, but naming and of labels of that table is going to change. That's where we have to get the mapping before starting our job. So without mapping, you don't know what to map and what field is business is used, what is the purpose of field. Because general things, employee, we are all from our like a academic onwards, we are hearing ID, employee ID, salary, account and balance, these things. So those things we are able to follow, but other than that they'll have some kind of business fields and which they purposefully create for their application. Those things we cannot get it right, we cannot understand based on the field name. So that for that purpose we need to have a mapping. So once you get the mapping, then you will start creating your job. So mapping is a key for any ETL. And once you receive the mapping, then you'll start open, you'll read from that input component, and you'll start seeing that all the fields whatever in the source table we have, and what we have in the target side, you can see the right side, and then you will start matching fields between source and target, and you can map that. That's where here you can see that the component represent you that lines. Here you can see, right? So each and every cell. So here it is saying each and every cell you can treat it as a column, and here right side also column. So they are matching the first cell like a first column with the here fourth column. So that indicates here order is not going to be the source between source and target. So both the systems will have a fields. It's a similar kind of fields or extra fields. And here one more you can observe, right? Here the input side you will see the 5 columns, but output side you can see the more that graphical representation of component itself. You can understand maybe source have a 4 columns, but target may have more than 4 columns. That as per a business, I can define that kind of structure for the table. So you have what you have to map and where you have to map other fields and all, you'll get into the like a existing frame, like existing validation business rules they'll give. So but here what is the point they're indicating in this graphical representation of uh, this mapping component, right? So source you may have less columns, and target you may have more columns. So how to get that more columns, why they are creating more columns, and where to get data for that more columns and all, you will get from your business, like a business whoever going business analyst or a lead who is going to give the generate a mapping for you. There you can understand why these extra columns and what we have to map to those fields, and where which table you have to get that fields and all. So this kind of information you will get it. So now what we are trying to understand here, right? Between a input and between a output, we need a processing. So processing components are going to be a mapper, or it's going to be aggregation. So inputs are reading. After reading the source, they have asked you to calculate. For example, some people will get a shift allowance, so it's going to be a daily. So when I am going to release a pay slip, what I have to do, every day shift allowance I have to sum, and I have to add the component in their salary slip, right? So I have to sum I have to sum daily shift allowances till the 30 days. So 30 days shift allowances I have to calculate. So here I have a day shift amount example, and here I am going to have a table which is a salary pay slip is a table. So there what I have to do, I have to read the daily shift and I have to calculate with with the 12 months, 30 days. So day wise, if it is a day, it's a month wise load, then you have to calculate shift allowance into 30 days. So whatever you have implemented, that validation, that logic you implemented, that will give like 100 into 30. So how much you are going to get, that amount you are going to place in the shift allowance component for a month. So that kind of simple logics or transformations we have to perform in a tool. In that is going to happen in other way around, like a front end is there or API is there, they'll do that. But in general, ETL also going to handle that kind of transformation. So and you can load the data into the target. So every month you have to calculate the employees salaries and whatever shift allowance, whatever cab or whatever their facilities and all. So you have to, they'll give a logic, right? How to calculate if you the employees on leave, so how to minus the 1 day from the shift allowance, how to minus from the cab allowance. So that kind of logics you have to implement and you have to load into the target. So you if you don't have any processing component, how you are going to implement that logics, how you are going to calculate that kind of functionalities. For that purpose, ETL, you are going to have a processing component. So here it is a processing. In another tool they'll call as a transformations. So in Informatica they'll call it as a transformations, and coming to SSIS they'll call it as a data flows. So say like a Salesforce also, you'll have a validation rules. So naming is going to change, but the intention of all the tools is going to be the same. So we have to understand that keyword, like you have to adapt to that technology, and what is their calling, if there is any logics or validations they're applying, what component what they're calling first. If you are going for any new technology, what they're calling here. So the basic fundamentals are not going to change. The intention of here, so read the data and load into the data. In between, I want to apply that shift element calculation and cab allowance calculation, those kind of things. So that to perform that validation or calculations on in between source and target. So here I am calling a processing. So other they're calling as a validation check or business apply business logic. So workflow. So they'll call it as a workflow. In a other BPM or a business process management, they'll call it as a workflows. Create a workflow to calculate the employee salaries. So then you are going to use that component. What component is in that tool, which can help you to apply the logics and all. So that's where all intention of any tool or ETL tools, this kind of data extraction, data loaders in our architecture, you see, right? They didn't mention a ETL tool, they mentioned a data loader. So data loader means anything. So data loader is going to be any tool. So it's going to be a ETL tool, or it's going to be a Salesforce tool input. Itself, technology itself have some kind of loader. So data loader is a inbuilt for some tools. So you can simply pass the file to load the data into the object. You can, for example, in your MySQL, if you are familiar with any database, right? Without ETL also, you can import and export the data into the flat files, or you can export as a .sql format. So that is called data loader. So loading data can be done within a product. But what is the purpose of ETL? So you cannot in a loader, just a simple export and import, you cannot do any calculation or any logics, you cannot apply there. You have to have ETL tool. So that is called transform. So here it is the E means extract. So here in this component, you are extracting from MySQL and you are loading into some info mix database, and in between This is simple thing. So I can export the from MySQL table data, and I ask him to import the data into the Infomix table, whatever table they're expecting. But in between, you want to um, you want to cleanse your data, or you want to standardize your data, or you want to make as per your requirement some changes, then you have to apply the transformations. So transformations can be performed in a processing components. So in Talend you will see the processing folder, so you can find a number of components in a processing folder. Okay, so processing folder, the purpose is to perform any transformations. So the first keyword is extract. So extract, we are clear. You can read from any product. So which is going to be a flat file, relational database, NoSQL database, anything you can read from database. You can use that related plain query or a join query, or it's going to be a whatever. So just you can just configure a schema and you can put select star from, you will get it the data, and that is going to be extract. After extracting, you want to perform any logics, you need to have processing components in this like folders, right? In a palette folders, you want to perform any logics, and you want to perform any business validations on the source data. Where you have to go to the processing folder. So processing folder will have a number of components, like it's going to have a transformation, or it's going to have a aggregation, are you going to have a unique, you want to identify uniques from data, or you want to write a duplicates. So whatever, you can find the processing folder. Where is the processing folder? So now you can see, right? So when you click when you select the process, right, you can see processing components here. So these are all the list of processing components. You can see maybe you heard of aggregation. What are the aggregation methods? Sum, average, count, these kind of in any SQL you heard. Even Excel also you can find that formula things, right? Count, average, round. So those kind of things you will find in a aggregate. So you want to do some aggregations. Here I want to do some. So I want to do the shift allowance all. For example, in this table I have a month data for a employee. So every day I'll have a entry for him. Shift allowance is something 150 or whatever 250 something, like 30 like 20 entries or 30 entries I'll have, minusing that leaves and all. So that all I want to sum simply. So here one entry will be there, employee. So two cases. So transformations can be happen in either way. Like, so you will have a one entry for employee, and that employee will have one entry, and it simply says shift allowance is 250. Then they'll ask you to calculate for month. So you are going to do what you are going to do, shift allowance into 30, so or 31. So then you will get based on month. So you will have every month will have a 30 days or 31 days, 28 days, whatever. So then you have to, based on a month, you are going to number of days you are going to pass, and you will calculate. Otherwise, every month they'll have a entry for every day. So you are going to log in and log out, right? They'll have a entry for a customer. So they'll have a Tirupati today first, day one. So like a login at 9 a.m. and log out at 6 p.m. and shift allowance is 0. And Tirupati second day he logged in at 12 p.m. and logged out at 9 p.m. Then shift allowance is 100. So like based on the shift, like timings, they'll have automated calculated logics and all. So like that, Tirupati Naidu have 30 entries in my mission, in my system. So 30 entries I just want to calculate. So I don't worry about what shift allowance he got based on the timings. So daily 6 to 9, 6 to 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There is no shift allowance as per my system. So he won't get shift allowance for 0. So I don't worry about what how much he's getting, but simply they'll ask you to do that sum of the shift allowances. So then I'll go for use a aggregate row component, and you can select that, you can select on that field, and you can apply the sum of sum method. So you can find here, simply you will find a method. So here you can see, right, operation. So operation, so forget about the column name. Just I want to sum the shift allowances. Just I'll select the column name and I'll select the shift allowance. So how we are configuring? So just we are selecting the field names. So schema, it will automatically come from source and all. So we'll understand in further section. So but you can see that what I am doing, just I am selecting the column name and I am selecting the function which I want to perform the sum of the shift allowances, and I'll get that what column I have to map and all. So you can map that column, so I can pass to the target load simply. And you can see, right, the component have advanced settings and basic settings and dynamic settings. So here you can see view. Tirupati, you can rejoin. I'm sharing screen. Everyone able to see my screen, right? Anyone able to see my screen or not? Okay. Okay, so you see, right? So yesterday we discussed about one component. We understand what is the basic setting and what is a documentation view and all. So these are all going to be the same again. I'm keep repeating why I'm repeating. Don't worry about if you are going to work with a different product. So ETL in the sense always they'll integrate with the different products, different integration. So we don't worry what product, what technology they are trying to use, but you have to understand what is the component configuration, what are the prerequisites before using that component. So now you can see, you can go to the component view and you can see what basic settings. So here you can see, right, just it is looking for a field names and you want to apply the function and what you want to map with the input column and all, you can select here. And same way advanced settings, what is advanced setting? So if you have any kind of comma separated values, so it is a comma separated or in a column, they'll store the data in a separator with a separator. So 30 days shift allowance they have stored with a comma separated, like 100 comma 250 comma 350 comma, then how to extract from that. So that is purpose they are giving. If any list operation happened on that, you can use that what separator they are using. So if they are used any pipe symbol, or they used any semicolon, or they used any hash symbol, so whatever separator they are using between the values, then you can modify that and you can extract that list values into the individual values. So for that purpose they are giving advanced setting. So that is what, so whatever is applicable, whatever features they are providing in advanced settings, we have to go through that and how we can apply on our data. So that understanding we have to read through the component. So when you read through the component, you can understand what purpose they're giving. And you can see, right, use financial precision. If you have a, if you are doing sum and average, so obviously the salary component or whatever shift allowance, there may be decimal, like precision values you will have, so that the data type is going to be double or big decimal, whatever. So your salary will be 1 lakh 50,000 50 pies. So that pies also you want to process in a component, then you have to select the decimal precision. And when you are applying the like a numeric values you are applying, then obviously you have to check is there any precision calculated on the source system. So that is what they are giving. And stat catcher statistics and all, we understand, right? All the components will have a statistics of the component, what it is started and when it is ended. So like that you will have features and dynamic settings. You want to customize any field and related custom code, you are going to do. So 90% we don't get a kind of requirement to apply any dynamic codes or settings. Okay, because all we can solve with basic settings and advanced settings, because it's a tool, right? So if you are writing more code, so what is the purpose of I'm buying a 10 lakhs for year, 10 lakhs for user? So if I'm buying a license for 10 lakhs, then still I'm going to write a number of lines of code. Then what is the point of using a tool? So that's where people always give as much as configurable things in a tool. So is there a 10 to 10% is a chance of something which they are not having the feature, then you are going to write a code in this kind of open source tools. Okay, and you just to label the things and all, and documentation you can to write a provide information on that particular component, what is the purpose of the component, what logics you are applying. You want to write a brief, see how much space they are giving to write a comment, right? So you can write as much as information for it is a very useful for other developers to understand what this component to doing and what this process or what this flow is doing. So this is called see, right here it is a these three components are interacted with the one to one. So each and every components are connected. Here it is called as a sub job, so it is called as a job. So this entire thing is called a job actually. So you can see the name itself, right? This is called as a job. If I have a number of flows, so now you can see, right? One flow, this is, I'll call it as a flow or process, or generally depends on tool, they'll call it as a name. Here in Talend, right, they'll call it as a job. So this is a one job. So reading data and writing onto the target, this is one job. And popping up a message, this is other job. So it is a, and aggregation, if I'm going to have another flow, that is another job. So activity, so that means you can call anything. So in a say one job, I am doing a multiple sub like jobs. So each and every within a job you will have a multiple processes, multiple purposes, or multiple activities. So whatever, so then you here what they are going to call as a sub job. This is a sub job, this is a one sub job under this job, because under this job this is performing one activity. So this is performing reading the data from MySQL and loading into the target technology. This is called one job. And under the job we have a job, then you cannot call it as a job. This is going to be a sub job of this job. So example one is a job. Under this flow, which is reading data from MySQL and writing into the Infomax database, this is called a sub activity, sub job. Under example one, this is a one activity, so they'll call it as a sub job. And this is another activity, another process, which is popping up a message. It's going to do some its own business, it's doing its own activity. So they'll call it as a this one as a again a sub job under example one. And this is another flow which I am going to do aggregation or calculation, whatever. This is a another flow and another activity, whatever you can call activity, process, or flow. This aggregation process you can call, or aggregation activity you can call, or aggregation job you can call. In a Talend they'll call it as a sub jobs. So this is one sub job, and this is one sub job, and this is a one sub. So based on flow, what what it is doing the process, they'll call it as a sub job. And this is not dependent on this, because mopping up a message is not any dependent. So this is a sub activity, so just it simply pop up the message and all. This is a reading, and it is a writing onto the component. So here you can observe one more thing, right? Forget about this now. So here you can see, right? You can observe closely, there is a green color on this component. So it will automatically when you remove the connection, that green color will be there. But when you are connecting to this, so it indicates it is passing something. Okay, so forget about main connection, just I'm connected this component to this component. So when I have this input, you see that green color here, and here also you can see the background green color on this component. I'm going to drag one more another input component. So this is also we have a green color, and I'm going to call another component. So you can drag or you can select the component from palette, or you can directly, if you are familiar with the component name, you can directly type here. So so it depends. So more if you start practicing and going forward, right after after you have practiced like minimal like whatever input and output you are familiar with that, then you can start play with any product related component. You can just start with T and you can select what product, what technology. For example, I don't know Amazon, but I am going to work with Amazon. So T is the starting, and I want to work with Amazon components. So just I know keyword of Amazon, right? Just I'll type Amazon. So now you can find all Amazon related components. So here you can find, if you are looking for some S3 component, then you can find what is the S3. So what S3 is available. If you are not able to find S3 related component, then you can select um, see now we can type, right. So Amazon S3 is a S3 is like a storing a storage area in Amazon. So but we are not able to find in a Amazon which starts with Amazon components. But if you know that keyword S3, then you can type S3, then you can find all S3 related, and you can see, right, under cloud, under Amazon, under S3 you have these components. So here you can go and see the palette. So whatever they are giving, right, cloud, Amazon, S3. So this is indicates the path of these components. So you can find the component in that way. You can go to the cloud. Where is the cloud? So you can go to the cloud, you can see the Amazon, and you can find the S3 folder, and you can find all the S3 components. That's what here it is indicating the path of the component. When you select a component, it will give the where the component is located. So cloud, under Amazon, under S3 folder, we have this component S3 S3 related components. So that is how you can have the path of these components and all you can identify. Now you see, right, so you can have a number of inputs, so a number of flows I have. Okay, here you can minimize your work area. You can select the percentage, how much you want to view, how much big, how much small you want to see. So here you can see, right, I have a number of flows in my job, a number of sub jobs I have. One job for reading data MySQL and loading, and one job just it's a fixed flow input, I just want to print on console something. So I have a component something to print on console. So I'm just using this component to print on console. Same way I have Oracle, I want to print on console something. So I'm going to use a component log row. So S3, I want to get the file, and I want to write on to the some other output. So you can see, right, file output delimiter. So whatever, just I'm taking some other component, and you can see the green color. I told you, right, if you are going to select the output components, the arrow is on top of the component. So at the at the top corner you can see the green color. If you are selecting a input component, it's going to be middle of the component and overlapped by the middle of the component. So for output you will see the top of the component, it is overlapped on the component. So that indicates its output and it indicates input. Okay, everywhere you can see the blue color indicates reading and green color indicates green. So it's kind of traffic signals, right? Yellow means you are stop and ready to go. When it is a green means you are moving towards where your destination. That kind of traffic signals in Talend also you can remember. Blue means you are on the way to target, and green indicates you are landed to the destination, you are reached to the destination. So that is this indicates the flow you are traveling. So from your blue indicates you are traveling the data from row by row here, and green color indicates you are landed your destination. So record will is inserted in target. So green indicates so you have placed in that bucket. So you can see it's kind of looks like a some bucket or a tin whatever. So you can see that it is inserting or it is placing the data into that bucket. So it is reading from bucket. So why they are giving middle? So that is what logically the business people user interface is a very important when you are creating any tool or any UI. So the graphical representation makes sense. By seeing itself you can understand what is the purpose. The best example I given, right? People are very best user become a best developer. Okay, so whoever uses anything in a all the ways, any app or any application. So for example, if you are using a WhatsApp all the way, whatever they have options, whatever they are giving release anything, right? So you know best how you want to use and how you want to give to the best like a message passing to the other person. So then if you start thinking other direction, so you have used a extensively that WhatsApp app. So now you if you are a creative mind or if you are thinking in a creative way, so how best I can give better than a WhatsApp. So WhatsApp daily they are giving a number of features. So you are very familiar and you are a good WhatsApp user. Good, not good, it's a extremely best WhatsApp user, right? So you know end to end. So what emotion I had to use, what text I have to send for other whatever, you know. So best user. So if you add some creativity to that your mind, then you will think you will become a good developer. Why I am telling and why I am using that WhatsApp app and all, right? So our our necessity will make you the best user anything. So you are using, if you are using any programming language or any tool, if you start using the way best how they have provided, then you will start develop on top of it something which will be uh, very reusable or a user friendly. If you are not thinking in that direction, if you are just do what they have given, what they like, people what not that much creative or not a great developers, because they're not interested on technical. So WhatsApp, if I explain one time, so you'll start play with it within a day you'll become an expert. But if I am talking about talent or anything, so this is not give us like a kind of any kind of happy or something. This is for job and we are working for a salary. So you don't add that creative mind or intelligence to your when you are working on that. But you are using a apps, your mind will be very creative and you'll start to play with it. What best, what or how best you can use that app, that you'll start thinking, and you'll do daily practice. So you'll day one, if I give the new app, you are also not become a good user for that app. But if you start practicing daily, so then you will become a best in that using that app, right? Same way tool also, how much you practice and how much you utilize the options of each and every tool, then you will add your flavor of creative or best, how best you can design a job to your reusable mode for any other new developer. Because we are not permanent to the any company, we are not permanent to the any client, we are not permanent to the same position. So always our things will change. We don't know when it is going to be changed. So but when you are in that place, how you can give the it's going to be a rework for you, right? If you do something simply, and if there is a flaw in your design or in a job, then again they'll come to you, and till you are in that project they'll keep bug you. So why it is not working, why do this and do that, like that. If you when you are designing a job itself, you will try to do what how you can best, like a performance example. So if you are familiar with some people here, I think you are familiar with some other IT category related technology or something. So if you are doing some work, for example, assume 1 million records are there, and it is taking a 7 hours of time. So 7 hours of time, nobody agree with you. I want to see that data. 7 hours you want me to wait daily? So they won't agree. So then you have to think in a tool. So Talend. So you have designed a job in a Talend to make that load happen within 3 hours. But still there is a options to make that 1 million to complete in a 1.5 hour. So that 1.5 to making that job 1.5 hour. So what options is there in a Talent or any tool? So what are the options are there, are out of the box, like without tool, how can we make it that 1.5 hour load can be done in a 1 hour? So that kind of thinking or towards, you have to always, when you are designing a job, you have to start thinking. So when you are doing a development, when you are doing a testing, so development environment, you will have you will not going to have a much records. You will have a like in case like thousand records, or it's in thousands. But you are good with thousands, it will be done in 15-20 minutes. So you are done with the development, and your load is happening within 15 minutes. But when you go to the production, so production, you will have a millions of record daily. So if you think 1,000 records happening in a 10 minutes, million records how much hour, that kind of calculations you have to think when you are doing a ETL. So performance is a very important thing when you are coming to the ETL, first thing. And second thing, how code you are writing is a transformations and all, how you are writing in a best way related to the technology. So because if you are using Informatica, there is no kind of Java or something, it may be related some query language. So how you are writing query optimal way, same way you are coming to here. So if you are using a Talent, then you have to think Java. So what way you can write a improve the performance of transformation, make it fast. So that kind of things you have to keep in mind when you are designing a job. So these are all like a fundamentals of any tool, any ETL is a load, is a very important load performance. So why I am talking right that one. So this is when I am designing a job, here I cannot go and play with millions of data, because I don't have any source, or I don't have any specific reason for loading the data and all. So when you are practicing, think take a like a get the data like 1,000 records, not 1,000 records or something. You can get more records, lakhs or 10 lakhs records, and you can just play with it. And then you can understand what are the advanced settings which can improve and all. So these things I'll keep add you each and every, when you are designing a flow, I'll add what best experience with my each and every like whatever components I am regularly use those things. But apart from that, if you are using any new product or new technology integration you are going to do, just think in that direction, how you can optimal the way of load performance or designing a job and all. Okay. So best become a best user in a Talent, then you will become a best developer. So if you are not using Talent when you are in training, so then you will not become a best developer within completing this training. So you want to become a best developer before completing the training, then start using the Talent. So you, like a WhatsApp, how you are using, just play, because I cannot go and tell all the options, right? So whenever I am showing something, you just go and play with the other options on that the components or other. I'm talking about the palette, so I cannot go each and every folder. I cannot go and explain each and every component because I am also not using all the components in my real time experience also. But I can guide you because I have a experience on that, so I can guide you how to go and how to do that. So now I am discussing about the palette, right? So now you can go, what are all the folders are there, what components are there. You can just understand the what things are available in the Talend, what they're releasing recently on patch. You can go and identify each and every folder, and you can see what components are there, and you can you will have that kind of practice. So what is there? So if example like WhatsApp, right? So something they're giving each hero level stickers and heroine level stickers and whatever. So same way folders they'll create a, so they'll give a separate category for each and every comic related stickers or anything. Same way Talent also give each and every folder the related product related components and all. So you can find here and you can understand, and you can get click on help, and you can understand how to configure the component and what is the prerequisite to connect to the component. That way you have to think. So coming back to our what exact point we are discussing here. So now you can see, right, there is a green color background on each and every component. That indicates your job is starting from here. So here you see, right, this has a background green color, this has a background color, this has a green color, this has a blue color. So each and every flow is a individual. So when you run the job, everything will start parallelly. Okay, that's what I'm indicating here. You have to, what you have to remember, right? Starting point of job indicate by the component background green color. So here you can see, right, there is no background color for output component, there is no background color for green color for tmap. So there is no log row, this component has green color. So whatever components as a green color background in your job, that indicates that is a starting for that flow, starting point of that flow. So now here in this job, simply you can say these are all first components are input. Obviously input is going to be the start point, right? Without input you will not get any output. So something you have to give, then you will get something. That is what like input and output. So here you can see input components, all input components have a green color. So but this is says all these are going to run parallelly because all are ready to run, ready to get, because it has some input. So it will give that message pop up, and this is as some extracting some oracle table. So it is ready to run from on the query, and it'll get the data. And this is some getting the file. So S3 has some files, you are just reading that file. So I want to make one by one sequence, then we are going to use a connection. So here each and every component, the respective components will have a different connections. So associating components, so what to run and what to run first and what to run next, those kind of connections and all, you will have a each and every component have a set of connections. So standard connections will be, we'll going to have 8 standard connections will have. So 80% of components you will have a standard connections. So connections in the sense what to run first, what to run next. So those kind of flow design you can do in the within your job. Right now I don't have any, I don't highlight any connection row. I'm not discussing any connection. I'm saying just to understand starting within the job, you can understand what is the starting point of the job based on the highlighted of component background is a green color. That indicates starting point of your job. So now in this job, again I'm repeating, in this job all flows has a ready to start. So parallelly it will go and do whatever you want. But you want to make it in a dependency, or you want to make it in a sequence, then what we are going to have connections. So how to establish connections and what is each and every connection, we'll understand in a next section. So I'm going to stop here, we are already running out of time. So I'm going to stop